Hello guys, my name is Gaston alias Cali, and I'm here again to do a quick, or not so quick, Halloween makeup tutorial. Join me, and let this be the last time you see me with this shaved mug. Ugh. So we're gonna start by covering the eyebrows with the Elmer's glue stick. I like to use the purple water-soluble one. You're going to apply it in the upward and outward direction and brush it out with a comb so that your hair is as flat as possible. You're going to do a second coat and then dry it with a hair dryer and then powder with a setting powder. In this case, I'm using the Makeup Forever HD powder using a powder puff. You're going to repeat this process 3 times in total, just to get a nice, thick, smooth coat over your brows. Quite frankly, I should have done it about 5 times because my brows are super hairy and bushy. Next, I'm taking a brow pencil in the color Brunette from MAC Cosmetics. I'm going to use this to draw the headband. I'm doing the new Wonder Woman. It's a little bit different than the original with the big star in the middle. This one also has a star, but it's not red. So just draw the outline. I'm looking at a picture while I'm doing this, following the lines as straight as possible. You can do a stencil beforehand and place it on your head if you like, if you feel more comfortable. I'm comfortable doing freehand, so I'm just drawing it on as it happens. Make sure to get as much detail as possible because you will be filling in these lines with paint. And there you go. And this is what it's supposed to look like. So now I'm going to go ahead and take the Too Faced Born This Way foundation, concealer, highlighter, whatever, everything all in one in the color Almond, and I'm gonna start to highlight my face in the areas of the lip, the cheekbones, and the middle of my nose. With a beauty blender, I'm gonna go ahead and blend that out. Now, usually I would use MAC full cover foundation so that it can cover everything and make everything look nice and smooth. Since I am a man, I need a little extra coverage to make myself look like a woman. But I was trying these out and they're pretty good. I still used a little bit of the MAC full cover foundation, but I went most of the way with this Too Faced. Swan color is a little lighter than the Almond, so I'm using that to get into the corners and kind of highlight the eye and the eyebrows. Just blend it all out with the beauty blender. Basically getting my lids as well, so I'm priming the lids, middle of the nose, cheekbones, and lip area. I'm going to go ahead and take the Makeup Forever HD powder and set my eyes, my brows, and underneath the eyes. Blend it all out with the Beauty Blender. A little bit of the HD powder. Make sure you press it in as good as possible. take the Born This Way in Cocoa, contour underneath the cheekbones, around the hairline, and also on the jawline. Want to create a jawline that's a little more feminine. As you can see, I'm blending it out with the Beauty Blender to give it the right shape and a little bit of a smoothness to it. I'm contouring with such a dark color because I want it to be very exaggerated. This is, after all, a character makeup. So blend it out with the Beauty Blender. Make sure you get everything a little bit softer. We're going to worry about blending out the lines later. Now we're going to take the same Too Faced with the almond color and add it in between the cheekbone and the jawline and on the chin to create a new jawline illusion. It's almost like I'm restructuring my face shape. It takes a lot to make this mug beautiful. Just going with the Beauty Blender and just kind of softening up all the lines. Don't want to make them disappear too much, but I do want to make it a little smoother and softer. I'm not too worried about the back of my head because I will be putting on a wig after this. With a spiked eyebrow pencil, I'm going to go ahead and redraw my eyebrows a little bit higher and a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more feminine. Kind of like a warrior princess look. So if you can see, my eyebrows are right underneath that. They're not completely covered because I have a lot of hair, but we just want to make the illusion and redrawing my new brow. I'm not going for perfection either. I'm not trying to make them both look perfectly the same because I do want her to have some expression on her face. Because this is a character makeup, I do want it to be a little bit animated. So they look similar, but they're not. One is a little bit more arched than the other to give a little bit of a characterization. And now with MAC Full Cover Foundation, I'm covering the rest of the eyebrow. Much as I can cover those hairy caterpillars on top of my eyes. It's also helping me clean up the bottom of the brow and make them look a little bit sharper. Once I got that down, I'm going to go ahead and take the setting powder again, the HD Make Up Forever set powder with the Beauty Blender, and set that in. Press it nice and firm so that it stays on. And I just kind of brush off the rest off the brows. Clean up the brow a little bit more. I got some powder on there. I'm going to go ahead and draw the lip line. I'm not really following her lip line, but I'm just kind of exaggerating my lip line and making it a little bit more feminine shaped by adding a little extra on the top and curving the cupid bow. Take a white liner in Pure White from MAC Cosmetics and put it in the waterline of my eye. Don't need to do the top, just the bottom is fine. This will make the appearance of the eyes look a little bit bigger and a little bit more open. And I'm also extending the bottom line out and the inner line out. So it appears to make my eyes look a little bit longer. With a little body tape, I'm taping my head and pulling my eyes back so that they appear to be a little bit more feminine shaped. Gives me kind of like a cat eye. So I'm taking some black liquid liner. I'm doing it with a brush first and lining the bottom of my eye to exaggerate the length of the eye and make it look wider than what it actually is. You can see what I'm doing. Kept messing it up. Just extend it underneath that white line that I extended. And do the same for the other eye. Once you have that, I'm using the Too Faced chocolate gold palette and the darkest matte brown to give a little contour to the eye and extend it in a V shape. I had to do a little extra covering of the brow there because it kept showing up as a dark spot and it wasn't blending right. So continue to do the other side. Just add like a V shape. Don't worry about it being perfect or anything. It's just gonna help to extend the eye and make it look a little more feminine. In the end, this is a character makeup, so it's not really like a shadow that you're using it as. You're using it more as a contour to make the eye shape look different. So you're not so worried about the color right now. You're more worried about the shape. Doing a little of the lightest matte color on the palette to give a little highlight and blend out the dark tone. And of course, blend, 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 blend. Now you're going to go ahead and take the Kat Von D liquid liner and just draw out the top from thin, starting at the inner corner in a thin line and extending it into a thicker line. You don't want to go too thick, but you are going to raise it starting from the middle of the lid and outward. I recommend you do this with your eyes open so that you get the right shape. Sometimes when you close the eye to do it, the line tends to droop down. I just went ahead and extended a few little fake lashes there just to make the look a little bit more dramatic. Once I put the lashes on top of my lid, that'll probably be mostly covered, but it will give a nice fuller effect to the lashes. Did a little point, extended the ends right above and below the white liner on the bottom of the eye. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So go ahead and finish the other eye inside corner and do the extension on the top with the fake little extended lashes that I drew on there. finish off the end and make sure to draw the little false extension lashes at the end, just to make the lashes look fuller later on when you apply the lashes, and the outline to the white liner on the bottom and the top. Now with a medium-sized pendulum brush, I'm going to take some gold, fill in the bigger shapes using the Nylon Paint paints. And I'm going to go ahead and fill in these spaces, just solid, just to give it a base. Put a little bit of brown into this color and do underneath. Don't want it all to be the same color because it's going to look very flat. So I'm going to variate the shades. This is a little bit more brown in the same color, and I'm just adding brown to it. Now I'm going to add a little bit of black to that gold, just to make it a little bit more grayish and give it another variation of that gold tone. It's just a drop, don't add too much. If you have the color already made, then go ahead and use that color, something similar. This is only to give it some shading. This part is the part on the crown that is receding behind the main two components, so it's basically going to be darker, just like the back part of the star. Take an angled brush. I'm going to go ahead and line, not everywhere, I just want to give a little bit of shadows. These paints are all the Nylon Paint paints that I'm using for the crown. I don't want it to look too uniform or too perfect. I want it to look more organic, and I want the lines to be different thicknesses. A little black and a liner brush. I'm going to go ahead and trace the outline in just certain areas. I don't want it to be all the same thickness, so in some parts it's going to be thicker than others, some parts it's going to be thinner. That makes it look real. More shading with the darker browns. The brushes I use are painter brushes. They are synthetic nylon brushes. I believe they're called Teflon. They're very good for smooth lines. I don't like to use my makeup brushes for this kind of paint because it will stain my brushes and ruin them. I'm adding different shades of brown to give a little bit of texture and make the crown look worn, because we don't want it to be just completely flat. Continue to make the crown look worn and give it some depth by adding different shades of gold and browns to the crown. A little bit of dark brown and black outline. Clean it up a little bit, make it look a little bit crisper. Now with an angled brush, we're going to take the darkest brown that we have. We're going to go ahead and fill in the back part of the star in the middle of the crown to make the star pop. Give it a little contrast, make it look raised. Just continue to fill it in so that you get complete the outline of the star. This part you have to try to get it as symmetrical as possible because it is in the middle of the head. Pretty good. If I can only get those lines off my forehead. Any plastic surgeons around here? Any Botox people? I'll trade you for makeup. No, I'm kidding. With a little bit of gold, not metallic gold, just a regular gold that we started with a little bit of white in it, just to give it a little bit of highlight. What I like about these paints is that you can layer. Some body paints you can't really layer, you have to wait till it completely dries, and even then the colors will smear if you apply them on top of each other. These paints are dry pretty well, so it's a plus. Now I'm adding a yellow with even more white in it. It's not complete white, it's like a very pale yellow, canary yellow, just to give an extra layer of highlights. Now I'm just basically cleaning up my lines, making everything look a little bit sharper. I'm doing this with the pale yellow on the inside, and then I'm doing it on the outside with the dark browns. Making it look a little more polished, more crisp, because after all it is supposed to be metal. Now go back with your angle brush and crisp out some of the lines around the crown. Again, to make everything look a little bit more polished, a little bit crisper. Fill in the star with the gold base. Now with the Nylon metallic powder gold pigment, we're going to go ahead and take a brush with a little bit of water in it, and we're going to go ahead and just brush on a little bit hint of reflection here and there. We don't want to do it everywhere because it will flatten it completely out again. So just a little shine here and there, a little hint, just to make it pick up the light when you turn your head and give it a little more realism. Just little hints here and there, not too much. And that's pretty much it for the crown. It's pretty much done as you see it. Now we're going to go back in for some shading on the actual skin so that it looks like it's being worn on the top of the head. And you're going to do this with a matte brown. Now I'm going to go ahead with a red paint. I'm going to fill in the lip right into the up to the border. Just make it look nice and full. Give it the nice shape that it needs to look more feminine. You could use a lipstick for this. I prefer using the paint because it dries and it doesn't have to be reapplied. If you were going to go to a party or something, it wouldn't really move much, and again, you wouldn't have to be reapplying. It also doesn't smear as fast or as easy as a lipstick would. I mean, nowadays you have the options of those fast drying and smudge proof, smear proof lipsticks that come in mattes. You could use those as well. Beautiful. Now we're going to go ahead and take the sculpting powder in the shade of Sculpt, which is this brown one here from MAC Cosmetics, and I'm going to use a contouring powder brush to kind of soften up my foundation contour. Add some Pinch Me blush from MAC Cosmetics. It could be any pink blush to the apples of the cheek and blend it in with the contour. I'm going to go ahead and apply some Better Than Sex mascara from Too Faced Cosmetics. Gives a nice thick coat, long lashes. And we're going to use Beauty Sense lashes. Nice and full, real thick, real nice for illusionist performers. Now with a nice dark brown eyeshadow, the one that we used for the eye contour and underneath the crown, we're going to go ahead and contour the sides and the bottom of the nose. This is a very big nose I have, so I have to do a lot of contouring. And remember, this is more like stage makeup, so you can go ahead and be heavy with it. See how my nose gets thinner? This is just a little contouring powder, just to darken up my upper lip because I lightened it a little bit too much, and to soften the blush area and the contoured parts. Just kind of feathering it out a little bit. Voila! Just add the wig and we are done. What do you think, guys? Can you believe I turned that mug into a girl? I mean, in a half-dim place, I wouldn't look that bad, would I? Work, bitches! Don't forget to check out my website, www.makeupartbygaston.com, and please subscribe to my channel. Happy Halloween!